Hello, 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 hello. How is everyone? Welcome to the Den. I am your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. As you know, you'll constantly see me looking over that way. I can read the chats better from the big screen than I can here. There's this encumbersome $sign there that blocks out like half the chat. So when you see me looking over, I'm just trying to read what everyone wrote. Welcome in. Please forgive the darkness. The light over here behind me tends to blind everything out. The natural light is to my right, but it's raining today. So I have my overhead light, or what they call the floor lamp. Hi, sis. Hello, BB. How is everyone? So happy to see you ladies here today. Like I said, first of all, welcome, welcome, and welcome. Um, y'all, I'm super excited. I may not sound like it, but I am. I am overjoyed. First of all, we have 519 subscribers. 519. And our watch hours are at 1989.2. 1989.2, guys. The watch hours are climbing. Before you know it, it's going to be 2,000, and then it's going to be 3,000, and your girl is going to be over here doing cartwheels and backflips in my head. Okay, let's see. First of all, my mood. My mood is probably at about a 9. Yeah, it's pretty up there. It's just a little, just a teeny weeny bit. My health, I'm still having issues with my legs. Um, there is something positive there, though. My wheelchair comes tomorrow, so I'll have some of my mobility back. One of the issues that I see with it is like right now I'm working on something that's supposed to be pushed aside, but I couldn't get up right then and go get what I really needed to be working on. It's across the room. So I either have to wait until someone's here to help me or until I can fight to get over there. Okay, so overall, I would probably, even with the health thing, I'd still say I'm overall about 8.5. Yeah, so it's still pretty high. Yeah, overall, it's still pretty high. So, what about our tasty treats? Y'all, I got my water. I got my water. I've already had a bottle and a half today. So, this would be 2.5. I also have cranberry juice. I filled up my water bottle with cranberry juice. And I also have my coffee. This morning, it's a mixture. It's the Great Value Espresso, 10 ounces, and 10 ounces of the Folgers Black Silk. I started reducing my creamers. So instead of 20 ounces of creamers, I'm down to 16. I don't even think I had coffee yesterday. I didn't have coffee yesterday. But my goal is to reduce it by 2 ounces a day. And whether I had coffee or not yesterday, I still brought it down as if I did. So 16 ounces today. Tomorrow it'll be 14. Saturday it'll be 12. I'm trying to reduce it down to 10 for the 2 cups of coffee. So that is what I have in treats. I've already had my breakfast. I have not had my meds today, but that's going to happen a little later as I don't want to be nodding out or jumping up and running to the little girl's room so frequently. So all of that is positive. Okay. Today's tasks. I did wake up this morning kind of early. Got up and did my stretches and my core exercises. I did all of that. Got up and did all my little girly things. And then I came back and started on the phone. I started making the skeleton. I started putting everything in the StreamYard that I actually had on paper. You know, your girl got notes. You know, I got the notes. And then I did my journal entry, and I picked out in my head what I wanted to work on today, which were this month's 7-inch squares. I still have a few to do, and I need to be working on putting the blanket together, which putting it together can probably be done in like a couple of hours. That part I'm not worried about. It's getting the rest of these squares done. And then the Timothy X, I really want to work on that today because I need to get that off my plate. And the subscriber prizes, I want to work on that as well. I still have not received my 5 pounds of yarn, and that's okay. I did put out a video, however, and you should see that link down in the subscription box. Hi, Lori. How are you, love? Um, but I'll tell you all what's happening. The wrap, even though we have 519 subscribers, I treated it like 20. I went ahead on and made that 10th square and attached it. I was not able to get everything and pull it over here on the bed. So everything is across the room right now. But from this point forward, as far as those prizes are concerned, you're only going to be seeing the chart because I don't want to give away what everything is. I really am waiting on the 5 pound box for this one. I was waiting for it for the big blanket, but I have the colors that I want here. I do have to go get some more of one of the colors because I decided not to have a multi background. And if you look at the video, you'll understand what I'm saying. I decided not to have a multicolored background. I wanted one color throughout. So I do have to go get some more of that main color. Fortunately, it is at Michael's. I just have to get there to get it. So when I get the 5 pound box, I'm pretty sure what I need or what I'm looking for at least is going to be enough to cover the throw. And then there might even be another prize. I mean, I'm just saying. I'll be excited to get to that point. So I did start working on the big blanket last night. I mistook how I presented this yesterday. Each square is actually one row. So as I complete rows, I'm going to fill in a square. I was able to get 4 rows done last night. As of right now, I'm supposed to have 10 rows. So that has to be done today. And all of those will be filled in there. So all of my little boxes, are indicative of either the square or the row. And this is a way to keep up with what has been done. Hi, Eileen. How are you, my love? Okay, I can tell you what I have planned going forth into tomorrow. Before I even do that, what are you all working on today? Because you know, Thursdays are usually pretty laid back. You know, we're pulling out our whips or projects that we want to start, and we're just kind of doing that together and having conversation. So, what are you all working on? And what are you sipping on? And while you're typing that in, how many of you are keeping up with your journals? Okay, awesome. I'm working on a 12-star blanket, drinking coffee. Cool, Eileen? Cool, cool. And Jonah's working on her 20 stitches blanket. Awesome. You guys are great. You really are. Okay, so what you actually see me, you need a journal, lady. I'm working on a scarf using the, wow. I'll bet that is going to be, I bet that's going to be beautiful, baby. I was reading Eileen's coffee. Okay, that's fine. I'll take the coffee. Oh my goodness. Our dialects are so not amusing is not the right word. They make me smile, but not make me laugh because I think it's beautiful, to live in the same country and to have such diverse dialects. Okay, I'm drinking water too, BB. I have, the three, but water is definitely one of them. My doctor scared me when she called and said that my calcium was low because I know that's usually preempting kidney stone. I'm about to start rearranging my craft room. You know what, Lori? That was the second question I was going to ask. How many of you are devoting at least 30 minutes a day to your organization? I don't care if it's not yarn related. I mean, it can be as simple as rearranging the dishes in your cabinet or um, cleaning out the refrigerator, rearranging the refrigerator. Maybe you wanted the dining room table turned a different way. Us Northerners have a different tone to it as well. Yes, yes. But yeah, it doesn't matter. When I went into the bathroom this morning, I told myself, hey, I have got to clean off my vanity. I'm not accustomed to having that much stuff on my vanity. So I got cleaning supplies, the toothpaste, the mouthwash, and I have a whole separate shelf that I use for all the extra stuff. The only thing I'm supposed to have on my counter is my rechargeable or what do you call that toothbrush? I have an Oral B, and I have been living in the South for the past 20 years, but I still have my New York accent. And you know what, Leanie? What I find, especially out here in the neighborhood where I live, a lot of people out here are from New York, and they've been in this area for years. The lady across the hall from me has been here for 50 years. And when you talk to her, you can still hear New York. New York is a once it sticks, it's with you type place. A lot of people, when they hear me talk, especially here, uh, unless they listen real close, they don't know that I'm from Carolina. They don't know that I'm very country. And it's not a show or anything like that. My mother was an educator, and my mother, had her way of making sure we spoke properly. So, but when I go home, all the speaking proper, like one word I cannot get past when I say all is always all. I'm sorry, y'all. And I do say y'all a lot too. But those are two things that I can't get away from. My daughter, uh, her thing is biscuits. She says biscuits. And what else does she say? Her. She doesn't say her. She says her. Her. You know what? How do you? Nah, she doesn't say that, but I'm just, using it in the context that she would. Or like, I had to move her car. You had to move what? Her car. Who is her? Please tell me who her is. Her mom, okay? Her. Thank you. I guess I can be a little demanding too when it comes to that speech thing in my family. My mom was a little militant with it though. Ooh, don't say the wrong thing around Barbara Jean. Okay, guys, I had a really weird dream last night. I had a really, really, really weird dream last night, and I don't understand it. And maybe somebody in the room can help me make sense of it. I've been dreaming about this particular area or region for quite a while. There is a hotel and there's a skyline over the hotel, a pedestrian skyline that gets you from one side of this major entrance to the other. Um, because it's like a big circle. And I always see limousines and taxi cabs parked in this circle. Well, when you enter the circle, the first building over to your right is a combination of a hotel and hospital. It's a dream, y'all. I don't know. When you're coming up to the property and you look, you can see the hospital sign with the blue cross at the top. Hospital. But when you turn the corner, you come up to the entrance of the hotel. And in this hotel, it's kind of it's well lit, but it's like yellow. It's the lighting has a yellowish hue to it. Over to your left, it's like a whole seating area of a restaurant. Over to the right, it's like the restaurant bar itself. But whenever the servers are serving the food, they never walk across the lobby. They're just there. The front desk is straight to the back. And in order to access the rooms, you go to the right of the front desk. In this particular dream, I remember my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, my grandfather. My mother, grandmother, and grandfather have transitioned. And then my aunt is in it. My son Melvin as a little boy, my daughter Jennifer as a little girl. It seems like there was somebody else. There is somebody else. This guy. He's a friend of my son's, older than my son, like maybe twice the age of my son, but a baby to me. And he has this major crush on me. And he's following me everywhere I go in this dream. And I see him as a child. That's It's like he's an adult, but just reached adulthood. And in my mind, in my sight, he's a child. At any rate, we went on this like safari type thing. There was this long road that you could walk down, but there were wild animals. It was like in the woods. It's like on one side it was wooded, and on the other side it was like a big cornfield or tobacco field or some type of vegetation that had tall blades to it. So we're walking down the road, and this guy is like right here on my heels, and I'm like, "Look, chill. We're out here to camp or whatever, and we go set up our tent and everything." And yes, I have been camping before, and I absolutely love it. And we hear the sounds of animals, but nobody is spooked. But when it's time to go back to the hotel, which is actually home, I see people walking down the road, and they terrify me for some reason. And it's funny because, my past. I was raised in a funeral home. My grandfather always told me, baby, these people are not going to bother you. It's the ones on two legs you have to worry about. So these guys are just coming towards us, and I get my boys and my daughter to step back. So we hide in this blades until they go past, and they're obviously looking for someone. They just two guys with some overalls, two short overalls on, ragged t-shirts, and they're just like glancing around and glazing and looking and searching, but they can't find us. And the guy that was with us, the one that had the crush on me, wants to jump out and continue on. And I'm like, no, you gotta wait. You gotta wait until they're out of sight. You don't want them to double back. You never want anybody behind you. And it was hard for us to keep him under wraps. Anyway, when we get back to the hotel or to the house or apartment or whatever you want to call it, my grandmother's in the kitchen cooking. My grandfather is tasting all the food, and my aunt is sitting in the den, right in a recliner, right beside the bathroom door. And my mom is being like really, really, really sarcastic. She's like, so y'all finally decided to come back home. Good time to come back home. And I'm like, okay. So being that we just trekked this long way, the first thing I want to do is take a shower and get changed. And before I go in the bathroom, my mom is like, good luck with that. I'm like, good luck taking a shower? Okay. So when I go in the bathroom to take a shower, there's no water. Now, at the beginning of this dream, we were all sitting together at the table, dispersing our monies. It's like all of us would put our money into this pot, and that everything that was in that pot went towards paying the bills. Anything extra went into our special hiding place. Now, everybody knew to keep their own money, but we had this one special hiding place in case we got in trouble. And nobody could explain to me why the water was off. But yet and still, my grandmother was in the kitchen cooking. And I'm like, where are you getting the water from? And she says, we have our resources. I'm not understanding y'all. She's cooking pig feet and collard greens, okay? Like one of my favorite meals. And I'm really not understanding. And my grandfather and my aunt and my mom are all looking at me and they're giggling and everything. And the way my room is set up, I have this wardrobe and I have an armoire. So I'm pulling my little drawers out and I'm trying to, make sure I got all my clothes and things. And I'm getting ready to go to my grandmother and ask her, where are the resources? Spend time. Where are the resources? And she's like, you have to crawl underground. And I'm like, are you serious? At the time I said, are you serious? I actually said it out loud for real and woke myself up. Guys, I felt like I was in the middle of a novel or the middle of a movie or something. Everything felt so real, but it was like I was watching it at the same time. And in some situations, of course, there was a lot more in there, but in some situations, it felt like I was able to control the narrative. Have any of you ever been in dreams like that where you could actually control what happened next? Or is that just me? Eh. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Okay. So let y'all simmer in that for a little bit. And if anybody has any explanations, please let me know because I'm real interested. I am real interested. So I told y'all what I have to do for today. And if all else fails and I can't get over, I keep yarn and hooks close to me. Okay, I don't feel alone. Thank you, Lord. I knew if anybody else had, it would be you. I knew it because you and I are so much alike. But yes, thank you. Thank you for helping me to not feel so alone. But I keep yarn and hooks close to me for this purpose. Back in 2024, I was hospitalized at the beginning of April. The hospital doctor came in and took me off of all my meds except my blood pressure medicine. I mean, fluid pills, everything. He took me off of everything except one blood pressure medication. For 8 months, I had swollen feet, legs, ankles, toes, knees, halfway up the thigh. I mean, they were swollen, swollen. And I spent probably 80% of my days sitting in the big chair, to the point that I had developed what was equivalent to bed sores. And it was, Joan, that's a concept. Perhaps it is the story. And I know the story writer in me, and it might be. I've had a lot of ideas about books here lately, and usually when I get them that strong or that powerful, it is time to start typing something out. I know that I need to get in contact with my publisher and editor because he's been on me for a while. I have one in the works. It's called Time for a Peach, and it's a series, an anthology of short stories, all relative to time in some sense. But they're all little mini romances. I mean, like really cute ones. And I can tell you about one of them. So one of them is called Thursday, and this young lady transported or transferred from Portsmouth, Virginia to Atlanta, Georgia. She was a front desk clerk, worked at a hotel. The hotel that she was living in until she got herself situated was not the hotel where she worked. And the lady who worked at the hotel where she was living was sizing her up because her brother was single, and she knew that the lady that had just moved there was single. And for some reason, it's like she didn't know that those two had actually met, first of all. But it's like she could feel the energy between the both of them and thought they were perfect for each other. But at any rate, this young woman who moved loved the aquarium. So she was going to the aquarium as often as she could, so much so that the parking attendants knew who she was and had developed a parking space just for her. And they had gotten to the point that they wouldn't charge her for parking there. And she would go over to the aquarium, come back and pick up her car. Well, the owner of that parking facility was the brother of the front desk clerk. And that was who, the sister, she wanted those two to meet. Well, finally, the owner of the parking establishment got the gumption up to ask her out, the young lady out. And they had like the perfect date and had agreed to see each other since. So they're like really cute stories like that. And it's very light, very engaging, and but they're like short and sweet, you know. And it's I forgot how many of them. I think it's 9 of them each time. But there's a story that the first letter of each title would spell out peach time. And yeah, so it's really cute. Not only a lot of thought went into each story, but thought went into the title so that it would match up with the anagram, so that everything would be in order. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. One of my biggest dreams is to produce or to write a screenplay. Yeah, that's one of my biggest dreams. Yeah. But forgot what I was saying. Okay, so what I can do is get back to my notes. And what I have on the schedule for tomorrow is, of course, my exercises and my journal entries. And also pretty much to work on what I had out for today. Um, except there is one. Okay, I can tell y'all about this. One started a one stitch challenge. Now, I think some people are getting mixed up with one stitch and one stitch element. So I chose one stitch element, which I always present it upside down. I'm sorry, this is what I have. And that's what the whole blanket is going to be. I'm sorry, I changed my body mist. So it's all over everything that I work in. And when I first pull it out of the bag, it's just like a burst of aroma, a burst of fragrance, and they all smell so good. That means I smell good. Yay! But yeah, it's aqua, big twist varsity yellow, wind tuck butter, and then it goes back down, big twist varsity yellow and aqua. I'm going to use the butter and put 2 rows of element of the design element here, and then I'm going to repeat this pattern. He said if you used more than 2 colors to make sure that your pattern remained intact. So that's going to be my pattern. It's going to be 45. It is 45 inches across. So I think once I figured everything out, it was going to be 43 inches tall. I am going to put a little light border on it, probably in the aqua. I think that's what I have most of. I don't know. I got a right sizable amount of the yellow as well, but I want to kind of hold on to the yellow because it is going into one of the prizes. Hadisha. Hello, Hadisha. How are you, my love? So that is another thing that I'm working on. It's not due until March 31st. So I have several things due March 31st. Our 7-inch blanket for my that's another thing I wanted to tell you. March 4th and 6th are going to be the 2 days that we get our squares for March. Okay? March 4th and 6th. You get 2 squares on March 4th and you get 2 squares on March 6th. All right. Now, as I'm giving myself grace, I also extend grace to you all. If you are doing the monthly blankets and you don't complete them in that month, please don't beat yourself up. What I've decided to do is, and I talked to Joan about it earlier today, I'm going to keep, even though my blankets are for donation, I'm actually going to keep each of my monthly blankets so that at the end of the year, I can take a picture of all of them together. And then they'll go up for adoption or however. I might even hold on to them for prizes. Who knows? But I'm just saying, the way the January one turned out, I was so no cap, y'all. When I first started doing it, I was really, really dubious about putting all 4 squares into the The bunny rabbit was cute. The bunny rabbit was adorable. But I was really, really dubious about putting them all together, especially having such beautiful squares and then this thermal half double crochet. I was asking myself how, because honestly, the plainness of it draws me to it. But when I laid it all out and I came up with the power, I was like, okay, this will work this way. Okay, I can make this happen. Guys, it is so beautiful. And this is just a quarter of it. It is so pretty. It is so pretty. And I'm so fascinated with how it turned out. The different colors to pull it all together with the red, and it, oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. We could sit there and talk about the beauty of that forever. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, So as for the one for February, my goal was to use as much red as possible. I still don't know who gifted me all the red yarn, but I thank you so much because even I just did the figuring yesterday morning. Even after I complete the squares, I'm still going to have a lot of red left over. And I already had a lot of red. That's what made me decide that I wanted to use as much red as possible. But that's a good thing because I have ideas for things coming up, like in May, which you have Mother's Day and Memorial Day. I already know that I want my color scheme to be red, white, and blue. I want that color scheme for three of the blankets, I believe it was. It's either three or four of them, but it's just going to be, different styles. I know that I want it for Memorial Day. I want it for Independence Day, of course. And I think I said I wanted to do it for Labor Day. I think that's what I said. I think those are the three dates. Because the other thing I was thinking about was red, white, blue, black, and gold. And that was for New Year's if I decide to do it again next year. But if I complete everything before December, then I might go ahead on and work on one for January. So by the time the new year gets here, that blanket will be done. I'm loving the concept of taking these squares and putting them together. And speaking of the squares, but first of all, let me tell you what else I have planned for tomorrow. I want to complete or at least be close to completing Mr. Timothy's wide. Let me see, you'll be using that red, I'm sure. Who does have any yarn? I'm sure. It might be gifted. We don't know. We don't know. We don't have a clue. Every day has labor in it. The milestone will greet itself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Oh yeah, I wanted to do Mr. Timothy's scarf. I also wanted to work real hard on those February squares and come as close to possible as getting them up and out as I can. And the one stitch, the one I just showed you, I wanted to work on that one. Now the blankets that I have that are due by March 31st are the Stitcher Hood blanket, the Carpenter's Wheel, the 7-inch square blanket, and this baby right here. So that's four blankets that are due by March 31st. But I've got such a big chunk already into three of them. So that's a plus. Okay. I don't want the spam. If I put it in the airplane mode, it does something wonky. These are the squares that we've done so far. We have the crop circle. We have clusterbuck. We have the thermal half double crochet. And we have the mermaid's tail. All of those were for January. And then we have the puffin stuff. We have, who is this? Okay, I had it upside down. I didn't know. Whew. We have the gated garden. See, I can't tell from this side. My Stitcher Hood blanket is just have to come when it comes. Okay. Oh, and that's fine because they're doing it per quarter. So if you don't make it this quarter, you still have three more quarters. So yes, the gated garden, the pinwheel, and the shells by the bay. I finally found a way to keep them in the same container, but separate them at the same time. Now, uh, those that we have coming up as possibilities. All right, those are duplicates. You have this beauty right here, which I really want to redo in a larger hook, so it'll be 12 inches. I really do. But every time I get ready to start, something else happens. And then this baby right here. This is so easy to turn into a square at this point. So I'm thinking, I don't know, it might be the middle of a circle blanket, a circular blanket that I do. It might be the middle of a end up to be square blanket. I don't know, but this is something else that I did a while ago that I fell in love with. This one, I don't know who this is except Puffy. Wait a minute. Let's see. Because we end this with triple crochets. So I'm thinking Puff Trippy. I don't know, but you have this one right here. And I'm sure you all remember the bursting petals. This is what I'm doing my birthday blanket in. And it is going to be an upcoming tutorial, just not right now. Um, this is a lot like clusterbuck, but this one is popcorns and not clusters around here. But it's pretty much the same concept as clusterbuck. And then, of course, we've got the single crochet with the little tapestry thing in the middle. Now, what we have to choose for March. I don't know what I did here, but it was cute. And I can just imagine it with more colors and a half double crochet around the outside to bring it up to 7 inches. I can imagine that. And it's pretty holy, holy, holy. Yeah, yeah. So in a warmer climate, that would work. Also, I think I showed you this one. This is Octacare. I showed you this one on Tuesday. I made that one that morning. And then Tuesday night, I told you I was going to make an open one. So I made the open Octi. No, I'm confusing myself, y'all. This is the open Octicare, open Octicare. I ruined the surprise. This is Thunderdome. See this piece in here? It kind of sticks out like a little dome. You can't see it that well. But what I thought about when I did this, instantly, Mel Gibson and Tina Turner came to mind. One of my favorite movies, Beyond the Thunderdome. And I thought about, oh, guys, this really makes me think of that movie. So, yes, and I don't know what I did here. I don't remember. Oh, yes, I do. I do remember. It had something to do with cross. And last night I said I want to say at the cross instead of, I think I said bearing my cross, but I want to say at the cross. And then, of course, I tried to put it together to make sure that it could be put together, join as you go. Anything that ends in the little clusters, I try to make sure that they can use the join as you go method. So that's why you see these two together, just because I wanted to make sure it could be done. Yep. So, and then one more. Excuse me. I definitely have not named this one because I was on the phone with Joan this morning creating this one. So this has no name. I just did this one this morning while on the phone. I was even playing Yarn Chicken. Makes me think of the moon's surface. You talking about which one? This one or Thunderdome? You talking about After Cross or Thunderdome, Lori? Or this one? I did beat Yarn Chicken. I had yarn left over. I meant to have that little ball close to me, but I don't know what it did, y'all. I don't. So yeah, I don't know. And Lori, if this is the one you're talking about, then maybe we have something in a title in that, you know, maybe something like the moon's craters or the hand that rocked the crater. I don't know. Y'all will help me come up with something because you all are geniuses. You are. Someone asked Juan the question the other day, can you turn a square into a circle? Y'all know I love turning circles into squares. So I started with a square. I'm in the process of turning it into a circle, and then I'm going to take it back to a square. This is truly scrap pieces. This is the prototype. So it might be in 1,001 colors, but I just want to see if I can do it. And, remember, basically, one of the reasons I don't write patterns, guys, because I don't jot down the notes to it. I want to be able to go back and look at it and see what I've done, and wonder if I can duplicate based off of sight what I've done. Tracks of a caterpillar vehicle, like a tank, so tracks. You mean for this one, Hadija? Because that would be awesome. Tracks. Tracks. Hello, tracks. So Joan asked me, awesome. Joan asked me a very important question. She was like, is it 7 inches? So the gray one, the moon. Okay, wait a minute. The gray one. And you know what? And it does. I said octi because each one of these, there are 8 of those. And it reminded me of little octopus legs. But I thought of this as a big hug around it because you can see a ridge line here. So I thought of it, being like encased. That's why I said octicare. But hey, we might have something there. But where was I? Yeah, I don't write everything down. I want to go back and be able to look at it and recreate what I saw. I like this because you do have your pretty little square right here. And as you come out to the circles, you can see, especially over here, where it gets a little wavy. I think that's so neat. And then how I'm rounding it out. And I'm imagining maybe 2 more rounds. It will be. Oh, yeah, yes. That's what I was talking about. Thank you. See how my mind just squirreled? Joan asked me if this was 7 inches, and it was not 7 inches. So, knowing that I want to end with a 19 count on each side, as you would with a 6-inch granny square, what I'm going to do when I go back in and redo this to make it 7 inches, I'm going to make this round triple crochet. The second round, I'm going to make it triple instead of double. And that will take me out. This is 6.5 inches. So that will take me out the other half inch. And I can still maintain my 19 stitch count out at the end. Another solution, if you're not worried about I'm thinking about adding this to another square. Will I have the same amount of stitches on the side? You can do the crunch and skip sometimes, but if it's too frequent, it tends to look a little tacky. So I try to keep the stitch counts around the edge, which reminds me, one of those squares that we did for January is definite. Was it January or this month? Whenever it was, it's going to be redone. I went back and redid the square because I think, excuse me, I think our outer round count was something like 22. I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm going to go back and redo that tutorial. And that is, of course, if you remember, for the pinwheel. It's for the pinwheel. And I wish that I did. I'm using the pinwheel for my February blanket. And I wish I did have it close to me so that I could show you the difference. It still looks like a pinwheel and it's still a square, but I changed things in the fourth realm where you start changing it into a square. That's where I made my change. Um, so it makes it, instead of God knows how many stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, instead of 14 stitches across in that fourth round, it's 11. It's 11. So that would make your fifth round 15 and your sixth round 19. So yeah, I'm gonna put that out at another time. Right now, what you have is fine. It's fine. But yeah. So those are things that are definitely. I feel good when I can show you things that I've done or that I'm definitely working on, because sometimes I feel guilty after I take my medicine and it makes me drowsy and I lay down and take a nap and I haven't done at least half of what I wanted to do. Then I feel like I failed at something, and I tend to beat myself up. I'll put it all down for a little while because I get in that slightly depressed state where I'm like, I'm never going to get this done. It's not going to happen. That turned into being a headache for us. What, the pinwheel? I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. You know what? And what I might do, if I can muster up enough energy to get out there today, I might reshoot that one today. I just might do that. If not, understand, please, that my wheelchair comes tomorrow. So there'll be a lot of differences after that. I just ask you to please have some grace with me. Guys, before we get out of here, there's one thing that I absolutely have to address. And I don't want to end this on a bad note, but it's something that has to be said. First of all, I'm a big girl. I'm 62 years old. My mother was extremely militant, and she raised us. And when I say us, I mean me and my kids and my nephew and my cousin. She raised us to be strong. She raised us to have backbone, and she raised us to fight without using violence. I'm that one who doesn't like to fight, period. But I live up to my nickname of Kitty. You back me into a corner. I don't have a problem with constructive criticism. There were two people that wrote to me and told me one of my tutorials, you couldn't see the work. I appreciate that. That's informative. You let me know. They weren't negative about it, nothing. Everything was all good. I had another individual to tell me about it, and they told me that I was too fast. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to slow down. I got that. I've had several since, not only on that video, but others, to tell me that I'm too fast. Mainly, these complaints came from my Crochet with Kitty videos. Now, I tell you that this is just a crochet session for us. Grab your crochet, let it play in the black, whatever you do. We're just crocheting together. What part of that defines tutorial to you all? Because I had one who outright messaged me and said, this is not a tutorial. You are crocheting too fast. You need an overhead camera. Bubba. But just to clarify, a tutorial is an account or explanation of a subject or task, especially as an online video. So whether I had an overhead camera or not, like in my earlier videos when I did not have one, that is a tutorial. The way that I've explained to you all how to fill out the journals is a tutorial. Anytime you get up here and you explain something, just to make it clear, an account or explanation of a subject or task, especially as an online video. If I explain to you how to put your socks on every day, it's a tutorial. It doesn't mean I have to show you. It says an account or explanation of a subject or task. If I tell you how to take it out of the pack, unroll it from the washing machine and dry, well, anyway, when you get that pair and you put it on, bunching everything down to the toe, and then pull it up slowly, unroll it slowly. However, that is a form of a tutorial. However, when I put out a video that says crochet with Kitty, at no point in time do I say or indicate that what I'm doing is a tutorial. I crochet fast. And in those crochet with kitties, I'm going to crochet fast. I always open myself up to anybody. If there's anything that I can do to help you, please email me. I don't mind helping anybody. So if any one of my crochet sessions you see something or might want to do, is simple. Email me and ask me, what is that stitch you were doing? Is it possible you could teach me that? No problem. I don't have a problem. But please don't come for me in a negative way, because as sweet as I am very much a cat. I bite and scratch back verbally, and then I block and delete. Or maybe back away from the camera a bit. So exactly. Now, see, the problem that I'm having, Khadijah, and I'm still working on it, is I'm using my old ring light, which I have to have it at a certain height so that I can see the back to be able to pause when I need to, and to be able to see that everything is in frame. I admit when I start getting into my work, I tend to pull it back to me. And that's one of the things that I'm working on. Um, you just ignore. And I understand that. I understand that it can be fuel, Hadisha, but if you did it in an email, fine. My email is out there. That is true. You and I went over that one square. I don't know how many times. Yes, and I will. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem working with anybody. I don't. There are people out here in my neighborhood who crochet. And the lady next door was the one who came to me first and said, could you help me with my ends? They go in and out and in and out. And we sat out there on that front porch for 3.5 hours until she made a piece where her ends were straight. And she was happy. And I was satisfied that she was happy. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But I think the main problem I have is when you do it in the chat and it's like you think you're chastising me in front of my other family. That's how I see you all. And to know the background, I get ostracized enough from my own family. I don't need to get it from here. You're right. You're right. We have, and oh gosh, you're so right, Hadisha. We put a target on ourselves. Oh, gift our teeth and push through it. Yes, you're right. You're right. See, this is why I talk to y'all, because I don't, like I said, constructive criticism, putting me in my place when I need to be put there is fine. But guys, I've been crocheting for 57 years. 57 years. And I'm no prodigy. I'm still learning a lot of things. But the speed is one thing that I worked on and I developed. I did that for me. Just like I can crochet in the dark. My mother used to send me to bed when I wasn't ready to go to bed. And I would turn on my boombox and pick up my yarn and tell myself I'd have to have a certain amount done before that song was over. In the dark and crocheting fast. So that I trained myself to do. I worked on that. I got that part. Am I the fastest crocheter out here? Heck no. No. The little kid Jonah crocheted faster than me. But I crochet fast for me. And what that meant for me when I learned how to do it, I was able to create more revenue because I could get the work out faster. I mean, I think it's pretty darn good. Doing a tapestry blanket, I can do up to 2,100 stitches an hour. I think that's really good. I think that's really good. We're talking single crochet, changing colors. I think that's real good. I don't pat myself on the back or anything. Do I wish I could do better at this point in my life? No. Arthritis tells me I don't want to go any faster. I really am not out here to race anybody. These are personal goals. This is all personal. Not trying to make anybody look bad or talk down to anybody. None of that. I'm trying to make my personal achievement marks. I'm trying to hit those markers. It's just like a person with a bucket list. When you're trying to tick those things off your list, it's the same for me. I'm not trying to put anybody down in the process. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not. And the other part of that, Khadijah, is this. All my life, I've been raised to treat people the way you want to be treated. And if I don't give you smut, and I'm not talking about you individually because you are not one of these people, but I'm saying for those individuals who did, those 6 individuals who did, if I didn't treat them that way, then I didn't give you permission to treat me this way. Like I said, it was a total of 8 of them, but there were 6 of them that came at me real. they came at they came at your sister real wrong, real wrong. I personally have that philosophy in life too. I love you, Khadijah. I do. I do. It just kind of puts me back in my place every time you say kitten. Okay. uh, I but I have successfully blocked 4 of them. Um, I don't know if these people create dummy accounts so that they can do things and then eradicate those accounts. I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? It's fine, Lori. It's fine. Like I said, that's a personal thing for me. I have been in the presence of people who I can make a dishcloth by the time they do 3 rounds of a granny square. And I tell them, you are doing a great job. That is awesome. The fact that you completed a stitch, I think that's awesome. I really do, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. Whatever they do, I think it's. I wore a keychain until it finally, the fibers finally broke and I lost it. My oldest daughter can crochet. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just not something she practices every day. So she made me a keychain. We moved down to Florida a few years ago. And she took my red yarn and made the letter C by accident. My name is Catherine. The other thing is that you have to take into account that this is font in pixels. There is no tone, whatever. Might not exactly. Okay, and you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I did not think of it in that way. I didn't. And you're right. You're right. I had a friend from Africa who used to call me all the time. And sometimes I call myself checking him on his tone. But it was his way. He did not mean it in a negative way. I'm teaching my daughters how to crochet. Excuse me. I get it. I get it, Lori. I do. I get it. I get it. But yeah. But that's I think the straw that broke the camel's back is the one that said to me, "This is not a tutorial." You're right, it wasn't. It was a crochet with Kitty. I don't put those out there as tutorials. I have tried to be helpful to some people in comments, and I've been blocked from them for being okay. Okay, you. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I do get it because my mom had a demeanor about her, and she was one of the sweetest people you wanted to meet. But she didn't come across. It didn't sound like her intentions. What came out from her did not sound. They didn't match the intentions that I knew she had. To other people, it sounded really harsh and cruel. You know, so I get it. I get it. But like I said, what got to me when they said this is not a tutorial. Okay, that's not what I put it out there as. And if I did accidentally hit the tutorial button when I was signing it up on the playlist, guess what? I'm human. I make mistakes too. I bet you don't see any of the other crochet with kitties in there. So, uh, I got you. And I didn't take it as such. I did not take it as such. I just, like I said, when I got that part, and the whole conversation between us was prefaced with, "This is not a tutorial," and then trying to tell me how to place the camera for a crochet with Kitty. We're just chilling. We're having a crochet sesh, and we're just chilling. Mm, I think I need cranberry juice on that one. I don't know what it is. But when I pour the cranberry juice into the bottle, and y'all, I only put like 3/4 cranberry juice and 1/4 water because it tends to be on the sweet side for me. And after having my coffee, if I'm drinking it with it, it's kind of yucky. But even with the water in it, it kind of smooths it out some, and it feels so good. And I don't like hot foods. That I can tell you. My coffee I can tolerate. But when you bring me a plate of food, I much rather you have made that plate before everybody else and bring it to me after everybody else gets their plate. That time it can get down to like a little hotter than room temperature. That I can do. I don't do hot foods because it tears up the roof of my mouth. Khadijah always reminds me when I forgot a link or something, some people might think that was rude. No, but I always appreciate it. Exactly. I'm still having struggles with my dang light. Yes. Yeah. Help me remember to mirror my camera. And see, those are all those things like that. I'm still learning how to do. I'm still learning how to do a lot of things. I am not very computer savvy at all, but I do have a gift of gab, and I do like communicating with people. I do like the fact that I have the live with you all. You might see me tomorrow morning, but that I do share the live with you all, throughout the week because it helps me to not be so lonely. Because even like today, even though my daughter's home, she's tired, y'all. She has worked 3 12-hour shifts back to back. and then had to be up and present. Yesterday's seriously thing as well. A lot of people will see my comment and regard me as extremely rude, and it's not meant like that at all. I get it. I'm still attempting to learn, and I've been going for 5 years now. Cool. And I'm still trying to as well. Lori can tell you. When there's something I don't know, there are two people I will pick up the phone and say, "Hey, this is where I am. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what to do." But yes, I get it. And those are things that I will be working on. But, like I said, when those people come a certain way, and the other part of it is when you write back and you obviously don't understand what they're saying or the intent behind what they're saying, and they don't change it. They don't even say, "I'm sorry it came across that way." I was just like, it was more like with the one person I did get into it with one person when they said, and that one said to me also, they said, "You don't know what a tutorial is." See, I live with this thing called Google. So when it's something that I have a question about, whether it's something I already knew or not, I will Google, like I'm obsessed. I have a thirst to learn. So it's like going in there and picking out those little nuggets that it has to offer. I'm still learning. See, there you go. I think we're always learning. Yes, we are. Oh, okay. That was my soapbox, y'all. I am now stepping down back into the room with you all. We all Google too. You're right. Or Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, I love you all. I really, really do. As usual, you have once again succeeded in raising my mentality. I love you so much. Yes, I am. I am. I love you guys. I broke up with someone shortly after he said, "I'm good the way I am. You don't need to." Okay. Okay. You guys have a spectacular day. Know that I love you, but I want you to focus on loving yourself, because you can't love others the way they deserve to be loved unless you first love yourself the way you deserve to be loved. You deserve the best. Remember, Kitty Lane told you, remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody. I love you.